Recall that cortisol is the key hormone released in significant quantities during acute and chronic stress. Rats and monkeys experimentally subjected to stress will initially show elevated cortisol levels followed by weight gain. This occurs despite the fact that they're eating a normal amount of food. Indeed, many people ex- or complain that even though they're eating a lower calorie diet and exercising more, they still can't lose weight. More often than not, stress is the reason. This is especially the case for those who experience weight gain around the midsection, as excess cortisol production has the strange effect of fattening up the belly. So, if you're the kind of person who seems to be doing everything right for weight loss, but are stuck on the same plateau, ask yourself about stress. Do you live a hurried life? Are you eating at warp speed? Does your job require that you live in a state of fight or flight? If so, then no amount of calorie counting or treadmilling will get you where you want to go. Your task is to do something of the greatest possible difficulty. Relax. Stop producing so much cortisol. Take a deep breath into your life, be a little more peaceful, and give your calories a chance to burn. Chronic stress can also increase the output of insulin, another hormone strongly associated with weight gain. The pancreas produces insulin whenever there is a rapid rise in blood sugar. One of the ways that insulin lowers blood glucose is by telling the body to aggressively store excess dietary carbohydrates as fat. Insulin also signals the body not to release any stored fat. Chronic stress and its attendant insulin output is especially problematic in a condition known as insulin resistance, in which blood sugar levels remain elevated despite increased insulin output due to unresponsiveness of target cells for this hormone. Couple this with the typical high carbohydrate snacks we consume when feeling anxious and unloved, and we pave the way for quick and easy weight gain. When it comes to weight loss, then, it is as important to relax and count our blessings as it is to count our calories. So imagine yourself worrying about your weight, following a forced and flaccid diet, and convinced of your unworthiness to exist if you can't shrink your body down to its perfect size. These self perpetuated messages will literally put you in a state of chronic low level stress. Though you're consuming less calories by dieting, you're producing more cortisol and insulin, which is signaling your body to gain weight. In medical terms, chronic stress decreases thermal efficiency, your ability to burn calories and metabolize stored fat. The bottom line is this: worrying about fat increases fat. Anxiety about weight loss causes your body to put fat on and retain it. Many people use anxiety and stress to motivate themselves to lose weight. For example, if I don't lose 8 pounds for the party, I won't go, or I'll never look good until I lose weight. This self chosen stress feels energizing because it produces such alertness hormones as adrenaline and noradrenaline. Over time, though, these fight or flight hormones can diminish metabolism. Even though I've seen many extraordinary examples over the years, it still seems like magic when people share their stories of how relaxation transformed their bodies. Terry, a 55-year-old school teacher, lost 9 pounds in 4 weeks without changing anything in her diet. She simply decided to stop worrying about everything she ate. Jody, a 31-year-old writer, lost 5 pounds in a week, the same last 5 pounds she was trying to take off for years, when she finally decided to stop obsessing about those 5 silly pounds. Esther, age 48, was a long-term dieter who never really lost anything. After several months on a no-diet diet without any guilt or self-imposed rules, she still didn't lose anything except guilt, fear, and dietary misery. The point is this: you don't need to worry anymore or punish yourself about food. It is totally counterproductive to stress yourself out about weight loss because that same stress causes you to put weight on. Relax and build bones. We all know calcium supplements can help build bones, but have you heard of the bone building power of inner peace? Research has shown an unmistakable effect of stress on bone density. Mice exposed to a 3 week period of living in overcrowded cages showed significant bone demineralization, loss of calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, and iron. city dwellers take note. They also showed significant losses in micromineral concentrations associated with bone health, zinc, boron, chromium, and cobalt. The glucocorticoids, a class of stress hormones that includes cortisol, are largely responsible for the bone-wasting effects of stress. These hormones actually block the assimilation of calcium in the intestines and severely restrict the amount of calcium available for bone growth. Excessive secretion of glucocorticoids, as seen in chronic stress, will cause urinary calcium loss, interfere with growth and division of specialized precursor cells in the ends of your bones, and will even increase the rate at which bone tissue is broken down. These bone-crushing effects of stress have been clearly observed experimentally in female monkeys subject to everyday stresses. We see it in people with Cushing syndrome, a disease in which cortisol is hypersecreted, and in patients who are treated with massive doses of glucocorticoids for a disease condition. So if you think that a calcium supplement is all you need to protect against your bones skipping out on you, think again. America's, America has one of the highest rates of calcium intake in the world, and still one of the highest rates of osteoporosis. Something's wrong with this picture. This successful equation for bone density is not about getting more calcium, it's about excreting less. We literally lose calcium in the urine within minutes of feeling stressed. This is the same calcium that moments before was in your bones. One study conducted by the National Institute of Health and published in the New England Journal of Medicine confirmed that past or current depression in women is strongly associated with bone loss. Depressed females had bone density measurements as much as 13% lower than non-depressed subjects. This study conclusively demonstrated that bone health and mental health go hand in hand. It's instructive to note that stress isn't the only factor that would cause us to excrete urinary calcium. Other calcium excretors include caffeine, alcohol, air pollution, cigarette smoke, excess sugar, excess animal protein, and phosphoric acid found in many cola-flavored sodas. Wrap these all up into the typical office worker lifestyle, and we're pissing away a most precious mineral at an alarming rate. So if you've been bombarded with a message to take more calcium, it's time to look at the big picture. A woman who attended one of my workshops approached me afterward, anxious to tell me her story. Despite a lifetime of exercise, a healthy, high calcium diet, and no family history of the disease, Arlene had recently been diagnosed with osteoporosis at age 42. Her doctors were stumped and she was devastated by her diagnosis because it didn't seem to make sense. Upon hearing me mention the connection between stress and bone loss, Arlene had a personal revelation. Her job had made her sick. She had been working at an intensely high stress, high demanding publishing job for over 16 years, and it consumed most of her life. For the first time, she realized she could make a change to a more satisfying job, a change that could be as important as taking her medication.